In this video, I'm going to show you two types of bangs customized to your client. Always start your fringe area or your bang area in a triangle section. The bang area actually goes from the apex to the outside corners of the eye. This is a really heavy section. A lot of people aren't going to want their bangs to be back quite that far. So I like to take it further just a bit. This is really a preference thing and a discussion that you should have between you and your client. So here I have my triangle section that goes a few inches back to the outside corners of my eye. The very first section that I'm going to take is actually a smaller triangle within this larger triangle. Working in triangles is going to keep your lines nice and soft. The first technique I'm going to show you, we're going to do a curtain bang, totally customized to your client. For a curtain bang, I'm going to keep this relatively long. Take this center section and I'm going to twist it. By twisting it, I am creating a slight over direction, which is exactly what I want because I want to go shorter to the center and I want to go longer down into the sides. So we're going to grab it, we're going to twist it, and I'm going to pull it down right to about her lips. Now, with bangs, you never want to cut with a lot of tension. Watch what happens. I'm pulling nice and tight. Watch what happens when I release my fingers. It pops up. If it pops up, that means it's going to go shorter than what you actually cut it. So when you grip the hair, give it your twist, get it in position, release it, and then re-grab it. By doing that, you're allowing that natural fall to happen and you won't have to worry about any shrinkage. When I do bangs, I always like to point cut. So I'm going to just cut right here. Cutting on the way out. By cutting on the way out, you prevent cutting your fingers. We have that center section cut. Now we have to connect it into the rest of the bang section. So here's where I like to slide cut. Slide cutting for me is a great way to connect shorter pieces into longer pieces without having any lines or anything harsh happening. It keeps it really soft. So I'm going to take my section and I want to keep my length right here. Okay, so this is the length that I want to go into, but this is where I'm at. So I need to get the hair from here all the way down to here. So I grab the hair between my fingers. My fingers are on a diagonal line now. I'm going to let that hair fall out. Once that hair falls out, I'm going to take my scissors in. I'm going to follow that angle and I'm going to wiggle my scissors all the way down until I hit the ends of the hair. Now look how soft that falls. Now, same thing on the other side. On this side, it's the same thing, except my hand is going to have to come up around. So I'm going to let that short piece fall out. I'm going to put my scissors in and I'm just going to wiggle them back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until I hit the ends. Now I have this really nice swoop that's happening in the front. This is going to give you a perfect curtain bang. It's very soft. You can really judge exactly how short you want it in the center, how long you want it to be on the sides. You're in complete control when you do this technique. This next technique is a straight across bang, but it's very soft and flows into the rest of the hair. The sectioning is very similar to what I did with the curtain bang. So we're going to start with this small triangle right here. When I cut bangs that are a little bit shorter, I like to flat iron them as I go. Here's why. Right now the bangs are long and they're doing a lot of their curving down at the bottom. When I cut them up here, they're no longer going to be curving. So you might cut the hair and say, oh dear, this doesn't look right. But once you actually style them, they're going to look really good. So just flat iron after every cut that you do. So my very first cut is going to be in this center triangle section. I'm going to hold the hair nice and tight, then I'm going to release it to allow for that natural fall to happen, and then I'm going to re-grab it again. I want her bangs to fall right around the bridge of her nose. So we're grabbing them, we're releasing them, and then we're going to grab them again. I always point cut, so we're going to come in and we're going to point cut that out. Never cutting past your knuckles, so we're going to re-grab that section and get that out. Now, see how it's a little bit funny looking there? Let's get the flat iron out and I'll show you how to fix it. There, so now I can see exactly how it's falling. So now let's take down our next section. Using our center section as our guide, I do want to angle my fingers slightly. I don't want it to go too straight across, otherwise the bangs are going to be up close to the hairline. So we still want to keep it at a slight diagonal. So I'm going to use my center section as my guide. I'm going to angle my fingers. I'm going to release the hair, and then I'm going to grab it again. And when I do that, you can do a couple of things. You could slide cut, but because we're not taking it too long, I'm actually just going to point cut that out. I'm going to re-grab it. I use the coarse teeth of my comb, and that helps it not to have too much tension. And we're going to do one more. There we go. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, using your coarse teeth to grab the hair, I do have to really angle my fingers down to mimic what I did on this side. This side, because I'm right-handed, my left hand automatically just likes to fall that way. But to try to get my left hand this way, it takes a little more effort. So go more than you even think that you need to, just to ensure that you're going long enough. Not cutting past my knuckle. On their own, these are very heavy. We've only created one line across the bottom. So to make them nice and light, and again, customize them to your client, their density, their texture, their face shape, and just the style that they're looking for, I'm going to show you a couple of tricks. So I like to work in threes. So here's my first 1, 2, 3. I'm going to take my center section. When I lift her all the way up, you can see that I've created a really nice diagonal line that comes down like this. I'm going to pick this up, and I'm going to take off that corner. Okay, again, I'm going to be point cutting. I'm coming in. So center section is section 1. Then I'm going to do this section on the side, number 2. And this section here is number 3. So already you can see that they've lightened up and they look nicer. Let's say that's not enough. I'm going to show you another little trick you can do. If you still find them a little bit too heavy, I'm going to show you this technique. This is called carving. So this is something that you do in the interior of the hair. It's kind of like slide cutting, except you're not connecting it to longer lengths. You're just basically going in and you're removing bulk. It's very visual. I like to look at the bangs and I like to see exactly where the weight is. Where is the heaviness? And I go in and I take it out. You're going to take a piece of hair. Again, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to start in my center section. I am not taking anything from underneath. I'm only going to work on the top. Not to say you can't do this underneath, but for this, we're just going to stick on the top. So I'm going to grab this piece of hair. I'm going to come in. I don't want to go too close to the root. Remember, you should never go shorter than 3 inches, especially if the hair is coarse. Otherwise, it's going to stick up on you. So we want to try to keep it just like mid-length ends there. So we're going to come in and I'm basically just going to wiggle the scissors along the surface of the hair. And that really breaks that up. So I'm going to take another step over. Again, leaving that underneath out. Give it a nice pinch, lots of tension. Come in, last couple of inches, and slice it out. I'm going to do one more right here on the edge. I find sometimes the edges can be a little bit thick. There we go. And then we'll do the same thing to the other side. But you should be able to see how much lighter this side is compared to this side. So we've point cut, we've slide cut, we've carved, and now if that's still not enough, you can always go through with your thinning shears or your texturizing shears. Again, we're going to work in threes and we're going to focus on the mid-length to the ends of the hair here. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to pull it out in the center, and I'm going to hold it straight up and down. So I'm holding it in a vertical line. By holding it in a vertical line, I'm not going to create any harsh lines coming across the hair. So I'm going to pick up the whole section. You can leave that bottom piece out if you like. So we're going to come in straight up and down, and I'm basically going to just take out 1 or 2 snips right there on the last probably 2 inches of hair, and I'm going to let it fall. I'm going to come over to this side. I'm going to do the same thing, straight up and down, just leave my length, 1, 2, and depending on the density of the hair will depend on how many snips you're going to take out. Straight up and down. 1, 2, I think that needs 1 more. A curtain bang and a straight across bang using slide cutting, carving, texturizing shears, and point cutting. Lots of techniques that you can use and incorporate them into any haircut that you're doing. If you'd like to see 5 quick, easy, very simple bangs, check out this video right here. And in the meantime, have a great hair day.